What's up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back with another episode of Team GLOCK University. In one of the previous episodes, we talked about what prep is like the day before a competition, kind of things I do if I'm leaving for a competition tomorrow. Now, what I want to do is go over like a training cycle. If I've got a competition, say a month or 2 months out that I'm prepping for, go through a training cycle where I can show you some of the different drills that I do to prepare for this. And this is the time where we experiment with things. We start to learn, we test new theories, we test new philosophies, we play with grip pressure, play with different drills and kind of figure out what works for us to better set us up for success for when that competition does get here. So the first drill we're gonna do today is focusing solely on fundamentals. It's the foundation of everything I do. The fundamentals, to have those as the foundation for everything I do is critically important for all of my training. So the first stuff we're gonna do today, we're gonna start with some one-shot drills to focus on draw, sight acquisition, trigger prep, a little bit of control. We'll go into some controlled pairs, and then my favorite drill, the bill drill. I do the bill drill a lot, and I'll go into deeper detail on the different things I'm looking for when I'm trying to do the bill drill. So let's get to the shooting line, and we'll start out with the first drill, one shot from the draw, and like I said, focus on basic fundamentals. So let's get up here. We're gonna start with one shot on target, then we're gonna go into some controlled pairs. Now, these are kind of like my warm-up drills. I do these generally to start most every training session just to make sure my draw is good, sight acquisition, trigger control, and feeling that comfort level before we escalate into some of the other drills. So, load up our pistol. And we will do one shot right in the center of the A zone. Right in the center. Right in the center. Okay, one more. So that last one was right around a 0.97, which if I can keep my first shot at around 7 to 10 yards, right around the 1 second mark or just below that, then I'm happy with that. That means my draw stroke is good, my sight acquisition is good, and I'm also maintaining appropriate trigger control on the shots to maintain them in the alpha. So now we're gonna go to 2 shots, controlled pair, nothing fast yet, but we'll progressively speed them up. All right, 2 shots. And one more. 105 first shot. Like I said, if I stay right around the 1 second mark, then I'm happy with that. With a 14 split for a total time, 2 shots of 1.19. So I want to show you guys something on that last shot. This is my group from really the first shot drill. And then as I started doing faster controlled pairs, the group started opening up a little bit, but I'm still maintaining everything right here in the center of the A. Now the last iteration I did, this was my second shot, which tells me that I need to play with my grip pressure a little bit because as I'm trying to push the gun faster and I'm trying to get that dot back here, I over-helped the gun and pushed that shot outside of the A zone down here to the Charlie, just outside of the A line. But that tells me that I need to play with my grip pressure a little bit to find the right pressure so I can still work that 14 split when needed, but also maintain everything right here in the center. So when we move to the bill drill, that is the stuff that I will work on. It'll be very comfortable, 6 shots all in the A, and then we'll progressively get faster. And as I do that, I want to apply different levels of grip pressure so that I can maintain everything here in the center of the A, but also have a consistent dot track up and down, and I'm not forcing the dot back anywhere. Yeah, I've said before, let the dot do its own thing. Don't force it back anywhere, but I also want to have as much consistency in the dot tracking as possible. So I'm going to tape these holes up here real quick, and then we'll move on to the bill drill. The reason I like the bill drill so much, and I've said this before, is because it works on so many fundamentals at once. And like I said previously, fundamentals are the foundation of everything that I do. So what I want to do is start out very controlled, 6 controlled shots in the center, feel how my grip is, feel how my trigger is working, and see how the sight is reacting to that applied pressure. So we'll start off very controlled, do a couple of bill drills, we'll look at the target, and then we'll talk about a couple of ideas to help us get faster. Nice and controlled. Let's try it again. And one more. So most everything here is right in the center. I got this one guy here that kind of floated up on the second bill drill that I did. I applied a little bit more pressure with my left hand and it pushed this shot up and away. As we get faster with this, I want to make sure that this right hand, the strong hand grip on the pistol, is not squeezing the gun so much that I'm losing the speed of my trigger finger, but also want to make sure I'm not applying so much force on the left side of the gun with my support hand that I'm pushing my shots off to the right side, or I'm gripping super hard with both hands and I'm pulling my shots super low. So as we speed this up, I want to make sure that I'm testing those grip pressures, finding what's going to work best as we speed up to make sure everything is staying right here in the center. So a few more bill drills, let's speed this up and let's see how the grip pressure works. Here we go. That was a 2.0. This is a 1.84. One more. That was a mistake. That is when I'm trying to push too fast and my right hand tenses up too much and you get trigger freezes just like that. So as we're doing through this drill and progressing through this drill, we want to make sure we try to avoid that at all costs, because trigger freezes, the hang-ups with the trigger, that all happens when I've got too much tension in my right hand and my trigger finger is not able to isolate itself under my grip pressure. So as we come down and look at this, my main group is right in here, and then I've got shots that I'm pushing down here low. That means one, I'm applying a little too much pressure with my support hand on the side of the frame, which means I'm pushing that gun kind of to the left. And here, it also means that this hand is tensing too much and I'm forcing the gun back down. A good way to put it is, imagine you're shaking somebody's hand. You want to have that firm grip pressure, but you're not trying to break their hand. So if I apply that pressure, that will allow everything to track consistently and keep everything right here in the center of the group. I'm going to reload mags. We're going to tape this back up. We'll do some transition stuff, and then we'll move on into some attack and control drills. The main point with transitions is I want to get my eyes moving first, and not my eyes just moving to the next target, but I want to pick a specific point on that target for my gun to follow. We also want to transition from our lower body, not from the upper body where we're just kind of moving like a turret. We don't have a lot of control that way. So if we use our lower body, use our hips, use our legs to drive the gun over, we have a lot more control stopping the gun so we're not over swinging too much. So eyes moving first, using our lower body to drive the gun over to the next target. So we'll do 2 shots on each target, left to right, and then 2 shots right to left. Two alphas on both targets. Now we'll do right to left. Really want to make sure we're applying the same grip pressure as we did for the bill drills, but now we're adding another layer to it. We want to make sure the eyes are moving first, driving the gun with our hips. I added an extra transition there to it at the end. And what that did is I pushed way too far because I knew I was trying to get back, so it forced me to make a mistake. Now this is something that I use as a training tool, because I wanted to get back to that other target. It's a task prioritization. I have to complete one task at a time before I move to the next task. When the drills were isolated, just 2 shots here, transition 2 shots here, and vice versa, all the shots were in the center. Eyes are moving, everything was working fine. Add a layer to it, and I forget to task prioritize. So I had a shot that was way right here, and then coming to this target, coming back, I shorted myself, trying to make up the time that I knew I was losing in this point. So when we do layers, add layers like this to drills, we want to make sure that we're task prioritizing, we're completing one task at a time. If I know I'm transitioning multiple times, I complete each transition the correct way before moving on to the next one. I'm gonna tape this up, reload the gun one more time, and we're gonna do an attack and control drill. And once I get that set up, I'll explain it to you and then we will shoot. So we're adding a new target. I'm gonna swap one out, giving us some hard cover, so it's a little bit more challenging shot. And we're gonna put some distance on it too. For the last drill we have set up, it's basically an attack and control drill. I've got a target up here close at about 7-8 yards. that I want to be really aggressive on. It's an open target. I still want to maintain my shots inside of the A zone, but I want to be aggressive with it. I've also got a target set up at about 20 yards, but it's also got a hard cover zone on it. So it makes the target a little bit more difficult, which means I want to apply a certain level of control to that target. So I'll draw, shoot 2 shots on the back target, very controlled, transition, 2 shots on the close target, very aggressive. Then I'll reverse it. I'll draw, shoot 2 shots on the close target, very aggressive, transition to the back, and then shoot 2 shots controlled. Now we will draw 2 shots on the close target and transition to our control target. So here, close target, all 4 A's. We were very aggressive with it. We had good splits, but we're also able to maintain everything here in the center A zone. Now, when we get to the back, this being my control target, I've still got a lot of A zone that is exposed. So my aiming point is still going to be right in here. Now, the first iteration of the drill, these are my first 2 shots. When I drew the gun, those are the controlled shots that I was acceptable of. Now, in the second iteration, when I transitioned back to here, I did not transition with a specific point in mind. I didn't apply a certain level of control, so I let a shot go early right here. But because we've worked on all these other drills prior to this, I was able to call that shot accurately and then put 2 shots right here. It's a good method for calling your shots. If you see a hit that's bad here, you're able to make those shots up, which is exactly what I did throughout this drill. So called the shot bad, made 2 good shots here in the middle. So overall with the drill, we've got 1 extra shot, but I've still got 4 A's in the back and 4 A's up front. Now we're gonna move this target over to the other side and run the same 2 iterations again. Drawing to the back target first, and then 2 on the close target. Okay, now we'll draw on the aggressive target, 2 shots aggressive, and then transition to control on the back target. Drill was a total of 2.12 seconds. This was from the first iteration, transitioning off the control target. Again, didn't pick that center point of the target. This is my first shot on the transition back. So as we're doing these transitions and running drills like this, we want to make sure and focus on finishing that transition, picking that specific point on the target so that we don't have these floating shots that are off to the right or off to the left of where we're trying to aim. And here in the back, we didn't have to make up an extra shot. I was able to apply more control, same grip fundamentals that we talked about earlier with the bill drill, and isolating the trigger finger. These are the first 2 shots from the first iteration, and these were the second 2 shots from the second iteration. So this is attack and control drill. Focus on a lot of control, isolation fundamentals here, and then aggressive, trying to speed up a little bit on the closer target. So, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this episode of Team GLOCK University. This is the beginning of what my training cycle would look like as I'm getting ready for a competition down the road. Like I said, my foundations are the fundamentals, so I focus a lot on those. Make sure, like and subscribe to the channel. If you have questions, please comment on this video. And if you want to take the conversation even further, join us on GIQ. Myself and the other Team GLOCK members are there. We talk about training discussions, theories, different objectives, different drills, and we'd love to engage with you. So thank you again for watching this episode of Team GLOCK University, and we will see you on the range again soon.